the Board of Trustees regular meeting Monday, January 6, 2020 at 6:30 to order. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let everybody know that the Township Attorney did contact me. He'll be here shortly. Stuck in a little bit of traffic. Approval of meeting agenda.
Mr. Supervisor, we have two changes to the agenda as it's written. The first item is to remove item D, the Zoning Board of Appeals appointments, as there is one not needed this year. And then we need to add it will actually move up to item number I, which would be H.V. Burton contract.
So deleting D, adding I.
Correct.
Any other additions or deletions?
I make a motion we approve the meeting agenda with the changes mentioned by Clerk Kandel.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Clifford, supported by Treasurer Arnold. There are questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Approval of minutes, 12/2/2019.
I make a motion we approve the minutes of 12/2/19.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Clifford, supported by Trustee Gurley. Once again, any questions or discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Number 5, public announcements. Public announcements at this time. Number 6, public comment. Any public comment at this time?
Appropriate to just bring up issues that...
If you have public comment, absolutely, sir. Just state your name and address, please.
Hi, Benji Bertassi, 29 Mile Road, 32550. Just some of the people in the township are aware there's a proposed substation on Gramer Road and an associated transmission line. Kind of find about this in bits and pieces. Kind of like to know that, first of all, we're disappointed. We had to find out when real estate agents have shown up at our door saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. Township has known about this. It's a few people for over 2.5 years. Apparently have some type of agreement with DTE that they don't have to meet some of the requirements of the existing township ordinance. That was told to me by a township employee. What we're really asking for, I am, is we do understand the need of electricity. I'm a retired DTE employee, so I understand what they're doing. But we'd like to have some type of dialogue with ITC because they will be taking easements, things like that, actually affecting property, use of land values and whatnot. I understand eminent domain, but it's really a tough call for them to do because there are alternate routes. So all I'm asking for the township is either help us facilitate some communication with ITC, DTE. We've done DTE, Gramer Road people handled that. And we should be left in the dark. I know they're getting close. This is probably a 3-year point for them. So they're getting close to submitting this to the township. So for DTE to be aware of that, they're already going to be granted variances with nothing in the township meeting minutes, nothing in the planning. Scratching my head. So looking for a little bit of dialogue and not understand what they're trying to do. We're just why, and we don't know if this is related to the gas compressor station on Omo, which is now currently on hold with FERC, at least for another 90 days. So this has been on hold because of that. Just a lot of things that a little bit better communication with township residents would be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
My name's James Fenner. I live on Gramer Road. This is also concerning
Can
the
you pull the
substation.
microphone up, sir, please? Up to you.
Okay. I James Fenner, and I'd like this to be on the record. This is regarding the substation. Is it common practice for the township to give these verbal assurances of variances before they even see the plan? Because I was told by a representative of DTE that they met with the township August of 2017. And they said they would not have purchased this property without the assurance that they would be able to get the special permit and a variance for each one of the ordinances. That's very concerning that that would have been granted without seeing any kind of plan. Seeing the impact it has on the people on Gramer Road, because this thing is scheduled to go in the most populated area of Gramer Road. So I guess I would just like that to be answered if that's common practice for that to be done. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Other public comment?
Hi, John Rumschlag, 65690 Gramer Road. You're probably seeing a theme forming here.
Could you speak up a little bit, sir? in the mic?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm another displeased Gramer Road resident, Lenox Township resident, about the substation. It's very frustrating that the way we found out about it was a surveying crew was out there surveying the property, and Jim happened to go over there and ask them what they were up to, and they told us there was a 5-acre substation going in. Gramer Road is probably one of the most beautiful roads / neighborhoods in Lenox Township. There's a lot of beautiful homes there. We do a lot of work to keep our properties up, keep them looking nice. There's a lot of high value homes on that road, particularly Jim's, one of the most beautiful houses on the street. And to put a 5-acre substation directly across the street from my house, next to Jim's house, our feeling is there's got to be a better place to put that substation. We all understand that it's necessary and we need infrastructure to support the electrical grid, but there's got to be a better way, and similar to what Benji said, we're asking for some communication with the township to find a better spot for it and make it a win-win, hopefully, for us and DTE. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comment? No public comment at this time? Thank you. Give Mr. Addis a minute. Leave it. Ready to go, sir? I want to check to see if he's ready to go.
He's ready. He's ready.
Ready to go? Number 7, public hearing. Number 1, 2020 Community Development Block Grant Fund public hearing.
Make a motion to open the public hearing for the 2020 Community Block Grant public hearing at 6:40 p.m. Second.
We have a motion by Clerk Handel, supported by Treasurer Arnold. Any questions? Discussion? Clerk, roll call, please.
Kendall.
Aye.
Arnold.
Aye.
Trombley.
Aye.
Clifford.
Aye.
Gurley.
Aye.
Motion passes. Public hearing open at 6:40.
Do we need to read that?
Yeah, do you want to? One moment, please. Sure.
Notice is hereby given that the Lenox Township Board of Trustees will conduct a public hearing on Monday, January 6, 2020, beginning at 6:30 p.m. at the Lenox Township Municipal Offices, 63775 Gratiot, Lenox, Michigan 48050, on the proposed use of the 2020 Community Development Block Grant Funds as required by the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended. Lenox Township will be receiving approximately $1,856 in community development block grant funds, which will be available for funding public services. If you're unable to attend this meeting and want your opinion known, please contact the Lenox Township Clerk. The Lenox Township Boardroom is handicapped accessible. Physically challenged persons needing special assistance or aid should contact the Township Clerk 24 hours prior to the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, and thank you very much for having me. My name is Ann Baichego. I'm the Chief Program Officer for Domestic Violence Services at Turning Point Incorporated. Turning Point is requesting $500 from Lenox Township. Turning Point's 40th anniversary is in 2020 this year, and it is the only domestic violence and sexual assault support organization in Macomb County. Turning Point offers a comprehensive array of services. We have a 24-hour, 7 days a week, 365-day-a-year hotline to access all services or to receive immediate counseling. The number there is 586-463-6990. We run an emergency shelter for domestic and sexual violence victims and survivors who are fleeing violence in their homes. We have a community-based advocacy program for residents when they're leaving our shelter. We offer individual and group counseling. We offer assistance with filing personal protection orders at the county. We offer legal advocacy and a forensic nurse examiner program for survivors of sexual assault. We have community prevention and education programs. In fiscal year of 2019, Turning Point provided 14,985 bed nights of shelter for 520 survivors of domestic violence, including 275 children. If awarded the $500 requested of Lenox Township, Turning Point will be able to provide approximately 20 nights of shelter at $25 per night for survivors. We appreciate any support that you can give, and I have some information to share with you if I could.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak?
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dory Vasquez Nolan. I'm the Executive Director of Care House, the Macomb County Child Advocacy Center. Our main location is located in Mount Clemens, and we now also have a satellite center located in the city of Warren. Our services are focused on child victims of sexual abuse, physical abuse, or children that may have been a witness to a violent act, as well as their non-offending family members. Our goal at Care House is to minimize the trauma that is typically associated with child abuse investigations and to help the child victim and their family members through the investigation and prosecution phases. Care House is one of 34 accredited children's advocacy centers in the state of Michigan, serving over 53 counties and one of over 800 in the United States. We collaborate with all law enforcement jurisdictions in Macomb County, as well as the FBI, Homeland Security, and Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. We also work closely with Children's Protective Services, the Macomb County Prosecutor's Office, medical and mental health professionals, and other child welfare agencies as dictated by the case. I have some updated statistics that I've shared with you on Lenox Township families that we've served in 2019, but I also briefly just want to tell you a story about Abby. Abby was 4 years old, and her mother, Renee, was raising Abby alone and struggling financially. Finding affordable housing was very hard, and Abby's mom was afraid that they might become homeless. One day, she ran into Steve, an old family friend, who invited them to move in with him. He had a large home with plenty of space, so they moved in. Things really seemed to be looking up for Abby and Renee. Renee got a new job as a waitress and even signed up for online college courses. She and Abby also started attending services at the church where Steve was a deacon. One day, Renee's computer died, so she went to use Steve's computer to complete her assignment. Renee discovered photos and videos on Steve's computer that showed that he had been going into Abby's room at night. There were photos of Abby without her PJs on, both asleep and awake, and videos of Steve sexually abusing Abby. Later, Renee learned that Steve also sold pictures and videos online for other men to watch. I know that these stories can be very difficult to hear, but what may even be more shocking is how common these stories are for some children. At Care House, we hear dozens of stories like Abby's. And the truth is that 1 in 10 children will become a victim of sexual abuse before they turn 18. More children suffer from sexual abuse than from asthma and autism combined. That means that 3 kids in every classroom in Michigan and over 20,000 of all the children here in Macomb County today are living with the trauma of sexual abuse. The numbers are surely much higher than this because even with our best estimates, most children never tell about their abuse. These stories are familiar ones to children of every race, gender, and economic status. And these kids could be your kids or your neighbor's kids. They could even be you or me. Over 90% of child victims do know their abusers, and those who molest children look and act just like anyone else. They can be neighbors, friends, coaches, teachers, clergies, parents or family members. They can be adults or children, and they can be men or women. Kids like Abby come from every community in Macomb County, and they were spared the trauma of multiple interviews by Care House. Care House also provides child victims and their parents the tools that they need to help them move forward and to heal. After a forensic interview, Care House offers follow-up services for the child victim and their parents, intervening to promote the healing and helping the families cope with the emotional stress and trauma. Our support services include crisis counseling, child safety assessments, access to forensic medical examinations, parent and child support groups, trauma-focused therapy sessions, family advocacy, and referrals to other needed services. We also serve in Macomb County as the designated counsel for the Michigan Children's Trust Fund, so we offer child abuse prevention information to the community at large. Families are never charged for any of the services that they receive at Care House. I'm also very proud to report that according to our most recent financial audit, 86 cents of every dollar that comes to Care House is specifically devoted to serving children and families in our community. Since we opened in 1996 and with the support of Lenox Township, we have conducted over 7,900 child forensic interviews, and 42 of those children were residents of Lenox Township. Last year in 2019, we conducted 758 forensic interviews with 3 of those children residing in Lenox Township. We received $310 in funding from this community, which we are very grateful for, and that helped to support services for 1 of those children. We are very grateful and dependent on the support of the community to provide a voice for child victims and a safe place for them to be heard. We respectfully request your consideration this year in the amount of $1,200 to support services for 2 child victims and their families that were residents of Lenox Township, but of course we'd be grateful for any amount that you could give. If anyone is interested in more information about Care House, our website is www.mccarehouse.org. We are also very active on Facebook, so we invite people to follow us there. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Thank you.
ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Brandy and I am the new director of the senior program. This is my first time addressing the board. I am requesting CDBG funds in the amount of $1,856 as additional funding to run the senior program. The senior numbers have gone up over 200% in the last few years. The township funding has not kept up with the increase in attendance. We currently have 7 mystery lunches. Our mystery lunches are our biggest attendant function we have. So much so that we have had to cap our last 2 trips at 50 due to bus size. This funding will allow for 2 additional mystery lunches for a total of 9 in a year, giving more seniors the opportunity to attend. Aside from the mystery lunches, the additional increase in our exercise program attendance will require us to purchase more equipment. In general, food cost has increased in direct proportion to our attendance. In closing, I'd like you to keep in mind that the majority of the seniors in our program do come from Lenox Township. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak? Okay.
Motion to close the Community Development Block Grant public hearing at 6:52 p.m.
Second.
I have a motion by Clerk Kendall, supported by Trustee Gurley. Any other questions or discussion? Deputy Clerk, roll call, please.
Kendall.
Aye.
Gurley.
Aye.
Clifford.
Aye.
Trombley.
Aye.
Connell.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Public hearing is closed. Number 8, consent agenda. All items listed under this consent agenda are considered routine by the Township Board and will be enacted by one motion. According to established Township meeting rules, there will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the Board or public so requests at or prior to the meeting, in which event the chair of the meeting may remove such items from the consent agenda for discussion and consideration under agenda item number 9 below. Approval of the consent agenda shall be by a majority roll call vote of those present and voting.
Orders and bills this month. You received a bills list amounting to $411,032.99. That bills list was prepared on January 2nd. Since that date, another $59,890.73 has come in, so there was a supplement to the bills list you received. So the total that needs to be approved at this point is $470,923.72.
Thank you.
I will make a motion, we approve the consent agenda with the approval of orders and bills in the amount of $470,923.72.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Howell, supported by Trustee Gurley. Their discussion. Deputy Clerk, roll call, please.
Connell.
Aye.
Gurley.
Aye.
Kendall.
Aye.
Trombley.
Aye.
Clifford.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Here's number 9, no items removed. Number 10, unfinished business, community room window covering proposal.
There's 2 quotes. I'm trying to get a third one. I'd like to table it again if we could. I had one back out. And I can't believe it. I can't, looking at this room, nobody wants to bid on this? Really? But I'd like to table it. I want to get 3.
Motion to table.
Motion to table.
Support.
Support.
Support. Motion by Trustee Clifford, supported by Trustee Gurley. Any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Letter B, Township Reader Board sign proposal.
I'm going to make a motion to table based on, well, before I get into that, we found that in the quotes that came in, they're above what we allotted in the budget. So at this time, we're going to have to, during our budget discussions coming up in a few months, we'll either have to add to the project or scrap it because we just can't, we didn't allow that much on both proposals. So if we decide to add to it, but until then, I'd like to table it until the next budget.
We could table it and remove it, and then it won't show up again.
Right, let's table and remove it until the next budget time.
I'll second.
A motion by Trustee Clifford, supported by Clerk Kendall. Once Any questions or discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Letter C, cellular telephone allowance increase request.
Mr. Supervisor, I would ask that we table this. I don't believe that in the 2 weeks we've had actually in the office since the last meeting that any action has been taken on it.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion by Clerk Kendall, supported by Treasurer Honnold. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Number 11, new business, fiscal year 2019 audit report. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Karen Shafiq. I am now with UHY. We're SB&W, Stuart Van Whipple, and we have joined forces with UHY beginning January 1st. I've attached a letter for all the board up there. So thank you for allowing me to come tonight and present your fiscal year 2019 results. We were out in October going through your audit, and we met with management last month to go through the results of it, and now for the whole board. There's a packet that I had passed out in a red cover. That is your whole audit report. I'm going to go through really just a small little bit. It's a good 40-page report there, so I'll make it a little bit shorter for everybody. In the audit report, there's a couple different things in there. The first piece in the report is the independent auditor's report. You have an unmodified opinion this year. That's the best opinion you can have. It's a clean opinion. Everything is reported in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. The next part of the report is a management's discussion and analysis. That's really just a narrative on the activities of the township that had occurred during the year. And then the next part of the report is really government-wide financial statements. Those are financial statements presented on the accrual basis of accounting and presenting all the assets and liabilities of the township. The next piece is the fund financial statements. Your general fund at the end of June had assets of $2,572,867, liabilities of $96,505, some deferred inflows of resources of $11,192, leaving fund balance at the end of June of $2,465,170. The activities for the year in your general fund brought in revenues of $1,290,368, expenditures of $1,181,317, and had transfers in from other funds of $139,981 for a change in your fund balance from 18 of $249,032. On page 2, there's just an analysis of the fund balance of your general fund. A piece of it is categorized as non-spendable of $33,117. That's basically for some prepaid expenditures. They've been spent. It's just not, you can't spend them again this next year. There is an assigned amount of value of $1,217,458. Leaving an unassigned balance of $1,214,595 available for use in the next years coming up. In your financial statements, you also have special revenue funds for your road fund and fire fund and PTA revenue fund, and then liquor law enforcement and monitoring fee as well. Their activities are shown on page 2, a little bit above the middle of the page there. And then their fund balances are also reported here, with the road fund having a remaining $1,429,383 at the end of June. Their fire fund had $1,473,794. Your PTA revenue fund had $8,930,883, Your liquor law enforcement had $43,645, and your monitoring fee fund had $47,758. You also have a debt service fund for your Chapter 20 drain, and the only activity in the current year was interest revenue of $871. On page 3 goes through your enterprise fund, or really your water sewer system. Your statement of revenues and expenses and your changes in your net position is reported here. Your operating revenues for the year were $2,067,614. Your operating expenses, not including depreciation, were $1,083,649. So it left an operating income before your depreciation of $983,965. Depreciation was $962,000. So that left a remaining operating income of $21,919. You did have some non-operating expenses of $727,267. Some capital contributions coming in of $426,885, and transfers coming in from your PTA revenue fund of $1,086,744 for a change in your net position of a positive $808,281. Your net working capital in your O&M fund, you had current assets of $720,200 and current liabilities of $287,797 for your net working capital of $432,403 at the end of June. That's up from a little over $320,000 at the end of last year. There are a couple other additional reports that are attached in that red packet, one being your independent auditor's report on internal control, and then an audit communication letter, which are required communications with the board. We went through all of that with management when we were out here in December, and if anybody has any questions, I'd be very happy to answer.
Any questions for Karen? Great job.
All right, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Make a motion that we accept the 2019 audit report as presented. Thank you, Karen.
Second.
I have a motion by Clerk Kendall, supported by Treasurer Honnold. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Letter B, 2020 Community Development Block Grant Fund CDBG allocation.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Does anyone have any questions about the material that I passed out earlier? The worksheet and then all the descriptions of all the services and what they're requesting?
Any questions? Thank you for putting that together like that.
That's for the chore program. The county does that automatically. You can't change that.
Right, it's all right.
Make a motion to allocate the community block grant money, $300 to Care House, $1,556 to the Lenox Township Senior Center.
Luann, can you repeat that? Residents didn't hear that.
Sorry, I forgot to turn on my mic.
Thank you.
I make a motion that we allocate the 2020 CDBG funds as follows. $1,556 to the Lenox Township Senior Center and $300 to Care House.
I will second.
I have a motion by Clerk Kendall, supported by Treasurer Arnold. Any other questions? Discussion? Deputy Clerk, roll call, please.
Kendall.
Aye.
Arnold.
Aye.
Trombley.
Aye.
Gurley. Aye. Clifford.
Nay.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Letter C, Assessing Department 2020 Poverty Exemption Policy and Guideline Request.
Certainly, as a matter of a yearly item, the board is asked to approve the poverty exemption policy and guidelines that is provided to us by the assessing department. They have again done that. The board members all have that in front of them. I will make a motion at this point that we accept the 2020 poverty exemption policy and guideline request as submitted by our assessing department.
Second.
I have a motion by Clerk Kendall, supported by Trustee Clifford. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Letter E, Planning Commission appointments. Planning Commission member appointments, there's two members. Their term expired, I should say, December 30th, 2019. Michael Bernard and Joe Marino, they would both like to remain as members of the Planning Commission. I would ask to reappoint both of these men for a term of January 1st, 2020 to December 30th, 2022.
Would we have to do them as separate motions so that if something came up in one of them, we had to be removed from office?
That'd be
It's done
fine
as
if
two
you want to
separate
do separate
motions.
motions, but I do two different individual motions.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the appointment of Michael Bernard to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term to expire on 12/31/2022.
Second.
I have a motion by Trustee Gurley, supported by Treasurer Arnold. Any questions, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
I'd like to also make a motion to approve the appointment of Joe Marino to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term ending 12/31/2022.
Second.
I have a motion by Trustee Gurley, supported by Trustee Clifford. Any discussion, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Letter F, Planning Commission Subcommittee Creation Proposal. Attorney Ennis, would you like to talk about the subcommittee creation real quick? Just give us a quick overview. Here.
Do you want to give a quick overview of this?
Of subcommittee creation.
Of any subcommittee?
Yes.
Okay. Well, generally speaking, subcommittees.
Oh, Mike, can you give us Mike?
My mic is on. I turned it on.
Yep. It is.
See, way ahead of you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, couldn't hear.
All right. A board can appoint committees for any number of reasons, but the major reason is to advise the board as to what they think after they study it in depth, what should be done about whether it's planning, wages for employees, zoning. You can appoint a committee over anything of public concern. So it's a way to involve citizens who want to be involved in appointing subcommittees to advise the board. The board can either accept or reject their suggestions. But it's a way to open up the process to people who reside in your community, and they can advise what's best for the board to do. It's that simple, unless you have a specific question.
Oh, that's it, basically, just an overview of what we want at this time. We have a one issue at this time that we'd like to create a subcommittee for to get their recommendation on how the township proceeds. Typically, how many members should it consist of? As many as we want, but I don't think
Be
it's...
at least 3, because you always want an odd number. It can be 5. This is not, generally speaking, a large community. You want to have people who are able to show up for meetings, who can put the time in, the necessary time. So at least 3. Some are 5,
Yeah,
some
I'm-
are 7, but you know, it depends on who's available,
I'd like to do 5.
who's willing to do it.
Aren't they normally compensated?
They can be compensated. I'm not sure there's a norm, but it's often a good practice to compensate them at least for their cause. You know, maybe they're, you know, whether it's gas and time and, you know, whatever else it might take. They may have to go somewhere and study something. So reasonable compensation is allowed and encouraged.
Yeah, I believe they should be compensated.
Well, I do too. I do. I just, we're talking about doing this. We'd have to decide on what we're going to pay them, you know, to do that. And actually, how the committee's formed? You can include a board member, members of the public. You can do whatever you want, right, Mr. Evans?
Yes, you can include a board member. It's often a wise practice to include a board member, but it's not necessary and it's not required. And you appoint it based on people who perhaps have shown interest. Perhaps they're people who have expertise in their own professions or their own history that can help the board make decisions that may not be within board members' expertise. But often board members are added as the 3rd or the 5th or the 7th or whatever to balance out the vote in case there's a draw, so to speak. But a board member is not required to be on these committees.
I guess what we're looking at is just the idea of going forward with this, of presenting some names to the board and going forward with this at this time. No specific yet of pay or personnel, which is the board would like to consider this.
We'll take the appropriate motion. Or you can appoint, you can decide to pass a motion to ask people to apply to be on the board, or to be on the committee. Or, you know, by a simple phone call, or a letter, or an email to the board, to the clerk, then decide who you should appoint.
Any other questions?
I have no more now.
Yeah, this is basically just to go forward from this point on establishing this committee, and it would still be under, board would still have to give approval on the personnel and the pay.
What's that, Ron? Sorry.
Board would still have to give approval of the personnel and the pay.
If I may, if it's for a specific purpose, if you state what the purpose is for, you can either appoint tonight, if, I mean, you guys have general knowledge of who's here, or you can put it off for the next meeting and ask people who are interested to let the board know that they're interested. Then you appoint the members.
I don't have any appointees for tonight, but you're saying we can disclose what the specific is for?
You can, sure.
I'll disclose that then, that's great. What we'd like to do is form a committee regarding asphalt millings for our township that are being used, and let the public, our residents, and members of the board be involved in it together to make determination on whether it's allowed in our community or not. We have it used in many different applications in our community, and we want to make sure we make the right decision based on recommendations. Is that how you describe it?
Well, that's how I describe it, but everybody, these subcommittees give input to the board. It is presumed that some of them have special knowledge, understand the subject, and will make recommendations to the board. However, the board is not required to follow the recommendation. The board then decides to adopt or reject the recommendation, or ask them to do further things, even specific things. We want you to look at A or B or C.
Correct.
But they are very useful tools throughout local government, throughout the state.
Any questions?
I have none. I make a motion that we approve the formation of a subcommittee for that particular reason.
For asphalt millings.
Yes.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Clifford, supported by trustee Gurley. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. 2020 Michigan Township Association MTA Conference Registration Request. And clerk, can you give that one?
Yes, I do. Registration is open for the 2020 MTA Conference in Traverse City, April 27th, well, 28th through the 30th. It actually opens on the 27th. The early bird rate, if we pay prior to March 30th, is $353. So we are requesting approval by the board to pay $353 for 6 members to attend the MTA
Is that the
conference.
same amount as went last year?
I think last year was $349.
But I mean the same amount of people.
Same amount of people, yes, the same people. It is all the board members plus the planner.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, discussion?
Ron, do you think?
Yes, sir, that was a motion.
Oh, that was a motion?
Yes.
I will second that.
Okay.
I have a motion by Clerk Kendall, supported by Treasurer Arnold. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Letter H, Clinton River Watershed Council Government Membership Renewal.
Received a letter from the Clinton River Watershed requesting our payment of $500 for our renewal of our annual membership. This is just a request for the approval to pay.
I make a motion that we approve the renewal of the Clinton River Watershed Council government membership at the cost of $500.
Second.
I have a motion by Treasurer Arnold, supported by Trustee Gurley. Any other questions?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Letter I, computer maintenance time block purchase request.
This request is for the time block. Our IT people give us an opportunity once a year to buy a block of time that is reduced from what their normal hourly rate is. And I am requesting at this time that we purchase 50 hours of time so that we can, the 50-hour time block is $5,000, which normally we'd be paying $135 an hour. So it works out to $35 an hour savings if we purchase it as a time block.
I second. That was a motion, right?
It could be, yes.
Motion.
Yes.
I have a motion by Clerk Kendall, supported by Trustee Clifford. Deputy Clerk, roll call, please.
Kendall.
Aye.
Clifford.
Aye.
Gurley. Aye. Connell.
Aye.
Trombley.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Letter J, HVAC chemical treatment service renewal. This is the glycol.
Yes, for the basement, they do the testing of the fluids for the system, and it's quarterly, and at $350 a year, but a 3-year option, which we did last time, is a savings. So it'll be $1,000.
This is the glycol treatment for our geothermal.
Right.
So,
Yeah, the company we're using is the same company we used down at New Haven Schools.
Correct.
Renowned in their field, they're very good. I make a motion we approve the HV Burton contract for the upcoming year.
Second.
we have a motion by Trustee Clifford, supported by Trustee Gurley.
Are we doing just, as a matter of clarification, are we doing just the 1 year, or are we approving the 3-year?
No, I was going to say the same thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to give them 3 years. Personally, I make it 1 year.
There's no savings at the 1 year.
There's not?
No.
Okay, well then I make it 3 years.
Second.
I have a motion by Trustee Clifford, supported by Trustee Gurley. Any discussion or questions? That's the only reason, Scott, we did the 3-year last year too. They gave us a little bit of a break on it if we go 3 years. And I agree with you, but it's the only way we can go there.
Sometimes you get too comfortable with 3 years.
Deputy Clerk, roll call, please.
Clifford.
Aye.
Gurley.
Aye.
Kendall.
Aye.
Trombley.
Aye.
Connell.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
That was the last agenda item, correct?
Yes.
12, public comment. Any public comment? Yes, sir.
Ted McGregor, 65545 Gratiot now. I really came to just get more familiar with the inner workings. I really don't have a agenda except that I developed one on here, and I hope I'm not out of order, but the young lady from Turning Point, I think that's a wonderful organization, and I feel bad. You know, there's only so much money to go around, so I wondered through the township if I can donate $500 right now to the young lady and have it come from the township.
You want to handle that, Mr. Radis, or not?
Donations are a wonderful thing. Okay. It is inappropriate and perhaps even illegal for a private party to donate through a public entity to a charity. As much as I appreciate your thoughts, and I'm sure the whole board does, the truth of the matter is that would be inappropriate.
I'll do that personally, but I just wanted to see if she could go back saying that she was successful in working with Lenox. Because I know you guys really would like to support Turning Point, because it's a super organization. But, okay, thank you for the...
Whoever does want to or does not, there's been no vote.
Again, I thought I might be out of order, so I apologize.
I'm not saying you're out of order. If you want to make a donation, it has to be made privately. Beyond that, there's no statement made by the board.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comment?
Make a motion that we adjourn the meeting at 7:28 p.m.
Second.
I have a motion by Clerk Gandel, supported by Trustee Gurley. Any other discussions? Questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned.